Right, so this video is doing the rounds around the internet right now, and I have a problem with it. And don't get me wrong, the video shows off some amazing longbow skill, but it's massively historically inaccurate. In his videos online, he claims that the targe, the Scottish shield as shown here, was used during the Scottish War of Independence, which is completely inaccurate. However, before I climb down his throat, I must highlight the fact that he actually did his job and did some research and provided sources, which means we can see where he went wrong. However, sadly, when looking at the source itself, it gives us our typical barbarous, savage Highlander rather than the reality. If people actually took the time to sit down and study Irish medieval history and actually looked at the effigies found all over Scotland and Ireland to do with Highlander warfare and Gaelic warfare in general in both Ireland and Scotland, you could see during the period from King John all the way over to the Scottish War of Independence that in fact in Ireland and Scotland they had the heater shield and not the targe. Now don't get me wrong, ultimately the likes of the Gallowglass and the Kerns, the cattle raiders, would actually have to adapt and change to longbow warfare. Why? Because the longbow would still tear these people apart. So ultimately his conclusion is still correct. However, it's these key little bits of information that can change a conclusion instantly and is vitally important when you're doing this sort of research. And granted, History of Everything does point it out on his short. However, he also says the longbow is pretty devastating, and if we look into Irish medieval history, as I was pointing out, there is counters to that, which you can see during the Gaelic resurgence in the 14th century. In his period, however, during King John in Ireland, the cavalry is what dominates warfare, and even that eventually gets countered as well. Regardless, the counter to the longbowmen in Ireland, as we can see in 1399, is when the Kerns lure the longbowmen into the forestry and then ambush them and kill them.